If we now go to the section for the items, basically the form with the ID items, and we start with the class div with the class raw. If we put it on a new line, basically the attribute, and after the class, what we're going to do is again use the directive repeat, ng repeat, so angular repeat, and we go for item in items, the items which have been returned obviously to us from after fetching them from the database and send as JSON to our controller. So we've got items in item, and then also ng underscore class, sorry, underscore hyphen class, and we want to apply the class. This directive ng, sorry, not click, it's class, is basically displaying the specific class based on the condition, for instance here. So the name of the class will be done, in between the quotes, then colon, and the condition. Item done equals 1. If item done equals 1, then apply this done class to this specific element. An item done obviously is one of the fields in a database associated with the record. So it's item inside of this array, obviously the item raw, and its associative name, which is done, and if value equals 1, then this assign this done class to it. And that obviously has this gray background color, font goes italic, and so on. And obviously the checkbox will be checked as well, which will apply this functionality in just a moment. So now we have for item and question mark, and we're going to replace this question mark with a set of brackets again, and it's going to be item.id. So each new for attribute will have item, hyphen, and the ID of the record. After this, we are going lower down, and the same thing goes, and if I just copy all this, for the name and ID attribute, there we go. Then we also go for the ng model, and it equals item.done, which is again the field associated with this specific record. Then we have ng true value equals 1, ng false value equals 0. And what these two do, these two directives, basically make it selected, make it checked, because it's a checkbox obviously, when the value equals 1, and make it false, obviously Boolean false, so uncheck it when the value equals 0. That's how we deal with the checkboxes in Angular JS. Next, it's going to be ng hyphen change, and on change update item. So we call in our update method, and we pass in the item which we want to update. Basically, when it's changed, we check in obviously what this item will automatically have done changed as well, and obviously that calls our update method. If we go to our control, I'm just quickly going to find our update method. As you can see here, we call this method, we pass this item instance, and we automatically know, because of this two-way bindings, whether it's checked or not by this done, obviously because this is going to be automatically changed once we've checked the checkbox. And obviously that follows, sends the request to obviously the server, and then we can log the info to the console. Okay, so that's the input tag done. Now after the input, we've got a label. So in between it, two sets of curly brackets, item, which stores the name of the specific item. Now if we scroll down, and I'm just going to copy these two curly brackets rather than typing this over and over again. And now for the quantity, we have qty. And for the item type, we have type name as a label. As you may remember, in our select statement, we've populated the name from the types table. Okay, and that's everything inside of this file. So if we go back to our browser, refresh the page, I'm going to close the console here so you can see the records. There we go, and all of the records from a database are now displayed. If I click on this, but you'll see that it's going to be an error again because we're calling the update method, which obviously we haven't got the PHP file for yet. So I'm calling this, and obviously we have this internal server error because page does not exist. But as you can see, it's changing the background color on checked, and on unchecked, it also calls the update to remove the record, obviously to update the done field of the record, and so on. We can't obviously add either because we haven't got these PHP files ready yet. So let's move to the next video and start creating these files for the insert, for the update, and for the removal.